Okay, guys, welcome in. Bruins lose game 2 to the Canes, 3-2. The story really developed prior to the game when we found out David Pastrnack wasn't going to play, and a lot of people didn't see that coming. And it was a real gut punch. And obviously, when you're without your best player, that's always bad. They needed more offense, didn't have a great offensive game, and they definitely felt it. So, Evan, let's just talk about impact on the ice not having Pasta in game 2.
I mean, what's so funny to me is the power play was horrendous up until game 2. And then the night that they don't have Pastrnak, they get two power play goals. Yeah. Now, they don't score any 5-on-5. So that's really the thing. I mean, you missed that with Pastrnak not being there. And they needed him in that last 5 minutes, especially that 6-on-5. But they score the 2 power play goals. So what? Is it no Pastrnak on the power play or what? No. You needed Pastrnak to score those 5-on-5 goals to help generate those chances. I mean, after last game in game 1, those first 2 lines were so dominant offensively. And all the Bruins wanted to do was to be able to kind of continue that dominance. And that second line, was good in the offensive zone for the most part, not so much in the defensive zone. But offensively, they were great. Pastrnak, though, just such a missing piece and kind of stops the momentum. And now, granted, the first line's the first line. It's hard to sit here and say, well, it's going to ruin everything for them. Sure. They'll be fine. But to miss him for that game,
it's loss. Everything. And look, how many games this year prior to the stoppage last year did they win an entire game? They dominated an entire game simply because the first line accounted for 6 goals.
They're everything.
It was like half their wins, the game they won entirely because the first line was so dominant that nothing else anybody did on the ice mattered. And you want to see that. We haven't seen enough of that in the playoffs. You want to see that carry through because, as you wrote about after game 1, the Krejci line has been phenomenal, and they were pretty good again tonight. They've been great, minus DeBrusk, who needs a hand transplant, but Kasha's been great. They've been really solid. And when you have 2 lines clicking like that with that much sustained pressure, who can play 2 ways, forget about it. The Bruins are a really tough out with that. And you take Pasta out and it completely changes the entire dynamic.
Yeah, and it changes, who you put on the ice for the 6-on-5. You're out there with 3 minutes left with Krejci, Marchand, and Bergeron. That's a line that is it never happens. Right. And on top of that, you have you're missing so many chances. You're missing that potent one-timer on the power play. You're missing just, the good board play. You're missing the zone entries that are so good. I tweeted this earlier before game 2. The reason Bergeron scored that OT winner in game 1 was because of the chemistry that Marchand and Pastrnak had on that zone entry.
Yep.
Bjork was great. I thought Bjork for the most of the game was fine with them.
Sure.
And Cassidy said this after the game. You can't replace Pasta.
Yeah.
You can't. And also on top of that.
He's the best goal scorer in the league. Can't replace him. What are we talking about? Of course you can't. Right?
Exactly. And Bjork is not a finisher by nature.
No, but he can skate with those guys and they can control the puck, but you need a guy to finish. And again, 4 goals in the round robin was scary coming in. And again, you wrote about that heading into the playoffs. The goal scoring drought was worrisome. They score 4 in game 1. You feel a little better, but you're right. 2 power play goals. They were lucky to get the second one because that was a crap call that probably shouldn't have been made. Not only the call shouldn't have been made, that should have been a 2-on-1 in the other way. They were fortunate to even get the 2 tonight. And it was not good 5-on-5 play. And I don't know what you're going to do if this thing, either he misses more time or my bigger concern is this lingers because you don't know what it is. We're looking at the replay of what Nesson and other people are speculating on the celebration of the overtime winner in game 1, and he kind of grabs at his side and he looks a little doubled over. If that's it, that looks like it's probably a re-aggravation of something else that's been going on. And, these lingering type of injuries are brutal come playoff time because you just don't have any time for them to go away.
That's the thing. The nagging injuries are the worst. Those are the ones where those don't just go away. You can't just have surgery and repair them. Now, if you have to have surgery in the playoffs, you're screwed. So that's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
These nagging injuries, it was Marchand in the Stanley Cup final last year. He re-injured his hand or his thumb or his wrist, whatever it was, in the scrimmage before game 1.
He got whacked on the finger or something, right?
Yeah, and that lasted the entire Cup final. And so, again, Pastrnak, it's not the issue of Pastrnak playing game 3, although it is a quick turnaround. You have 12 p.m. on a Saturday, but it's more of oh my God, how's this going to impact them down the road in their quest for the cup? I mean, that's a legit thing. And your number one goal scorer has an issue with whatever it is. We won't find it out. They can't tell us. So it has an issue with something, and you can't really fix it if it's nagging. That's an issue. That's a huge issue. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they manage it going on here.
Yeah, and that's the problem too. You win game 2, you might look at it and say, let's give him a little extra time in game 3. You win that one, maybe you think about giving him the series, but you put yourself in a position. It's possible you may kick the can down the road a little bit and might say, 2-3 days, I don't know what's going to give it, but 5, 6, 7 days, he might be 100%. But you can't do that. You got to, if he's ready, you have.
Hurricanes team's too good. This Hurricanes team is too good, and I feel like I think there are some people underselling them, and they're just too good.
They're good. That's the problem. They're a 5 or a 6 seed, and the Bruins are a 1 seed, and it's a first round matchup that's probably more suited for a second round matchup.
It's exactly it. It's a second round,
and that's it. This is a second round opponent. This isn't a cupcake that a team like the Bruins should be facing, who should be the number 1 seed because they were the most dominant team in hockey all season long. And honestly, the round robin was bullshit in the play-in.
Yeah,
they should have been handed a number 1 seed. That's my opinion. It'll continue to be so, but that's a tough one because you're right. This is a tough opponent, so they're going to need Pastrnack. We'll see. I'm a little worried, Evan. We're not going to know a thing until about 30 minutes prior to puck drop on Saturday.
It's going to be a tweet that the Bruins send out just like they did before Game 2, and that'll be that.
David Pastrnak is dead.
That'll just be it. That'll just be it. We don't know where he is. It's like Yoenis Cespedes. We don't know where he went.
We have lost contact with David Pastrnak. So, all right, we'll see. Game 2 Saturday. We'll have a lot more coverage, obviously, then. Off days throughout the series and throughout this entire Bruins playoff run. For Evan Marinofsky, I'm John Zanis. We'll see you guys later.